Alonso was just so slow on these mediums, guys. Like, I'm on a compound harder and slower, and Alonso just wasn't doing it for me. So I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to go around the outside of Nando, and let's see if he can keep up or whether I pull away and get closer to the Ferraris, because I couldn't sit behind him any longer, guys. The Ferraris were just slowly but surely creeping away. Hello, guys! Turbocharged 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, excuse my voice if it's a little bit gone. I just recorded another Breaking Point episode for you guys, so my voice is a bit gone, but we are still doing this. We are still keeping our eyes on the straight and narrow, and I want to say welcome back to career mode, driving for Cognizant Aston Martin Racing Cognizant Aston Martin Formula 1 team, alongside my hero Fernando Alonso, and welcome back to another video. Guys, the Bahrain Grand Prix went insane. It went so well, and I'm now looking forward to Australia, obviously, because the cars have grip and there is no OP straight line speed from the AI, so you can actually race them. Sorry, just pointing out all the F122 problems, just post-launch. In any case, we are back with the 51 on the side of the Aston. And guys, heading in towards this episode, now obviously the break between Bahrain and Australia will be kind of big, because obviously we're doing a 16-race season, not the full 23-race season. 22, not the point. You guys know what I mean. So we've got some time to throw some upgrades on the car. Hopefully we've got the resource points to do that. But more than that, we'll have weekly resources coming in, and we'll have to see what we can do to get this car closer to Red Bull, because you guys know we started the previous episode as the third quickest car overall, and by this episode we have dropped the position to being the fourth quickest car overall, as Mercedes have overtaken us according to the R&D. But you guys know, if you watched the first episode, by the way, if you haven't, make sure to go check out the first episode, link in the description down below, so that you guys can actually see what happened. But back in that episode, hashtag spoilers alert, there was a lot of confusion. Basically, I'm sure I'm not the only one that thought this way, but I thought that Red Bull were just absolutely going to walk away and run away with that race. And turns out Charles Leclerc pulled the wool over our eyes, and he won for Ferrari, with George Russell MP2 for Mercedes. Perez got P3 for Red Bull, and Max didn't even finish. He had engine failure on lap 4, lap 5. So one Red Bull didn't score any points. The second Red Bull got beaten by a Ferrari and a Mercedes, and we were in fourth, not too far behind them in the Aston. So there is a lot of question marks and a lot of unknowns heading in towards this Australian Grand Prix. But as you guys can see, the upgrades are coming in thick and fast. We've got 1,001 resource points. So let's see what else we can get onto this car. As you guys saw the previous episode, I was hammering upgrades onto this car. So obviously you guys know the weakest part of our car is our chassis. So that is what I want to focus on mostly for this season. I'll do chassis, then aero, then engine. And obviously you guys know durability is not such a big factor in career mode. I know, compared to my team. So durability is not the biggest thing, but chassis, we have to play catch up with the other teams. That is really our weakest part of this car, in my opinion. So we had a quality control center upgrade for I think power. So yeah, it's a 4. Even though it's only 2 episodes in, things are looking good here at Cognizant Aston Martin Formula 1 team. I am not complaining. You guys can see we are still currently 4th in the chassis overall, and then we buy the tire blankets upgrade. So yeah, we're pushing for upgrades, and when it came to the aerodynamics, I didn't buy any more of the aerodynamics. There's our gearbox upgrade that has come in. So we'll probably do some more upgrades after practice and just before qualifying. But currently, guys, I am chasing down Red Bull as hard as I can. Well, firstly, I'm trying to make a gap between ourselves, Ferrari and Mercedes, and then we're going to chase down Red Bull. But it all goes together in one beautiful little ball. So the point is, we need to upgrade, and upgrade some more. So we are going, obviously, guys, you guys know the Pirelli hot lap stuff. Nobody cares about it anymore. Nobody used the supercars in the previous game. We're not going to use them in this game. So we skipped that, and we're going straight to the race weekend. I was debating going for a softer tire allocation for this weekend, but I ended up choosing the balanced one, just to have that spare set of mediums in the race if we do need them. You never know. With red flags now being an addition to the F1 game, as well as... Well, that was actually what I should have said as well as. But red flags are new. We haven't seen one yet, but red flags are new. And they never know what's going to happen with the safety car, and we're going to a street circuit. So we need to be keen on that. So you guys can see now with our upgrades, we are the second fastest car, according to the R&D. Red Bull first, we are second, Mercedes third, Ferrari fourth. So Ferrari have hit a bit of a slump compared to last video. They had like 1 or 2 minor upgrades, and they don't have any upgrades this video. Alpine still maintain P5, but Williams are very, very closely nipping at their heels. McLaren are P7, so they've jumped Haas and Alfa Romeo. Then Haas are P8, Alfa Romeo P9, and Alfa Tauri are still the slowest cars on the grid. That is the sadness for the baby Red Bull team, but what can you do? We have to see what happens throughout this weekend, guys. Obviously, after Australia, we're heading towards my favorite track on the calendar. We're heading to Baku, and I can't wait for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I think the fact that this Mercedes has got, that this Aston has got such a good Mercedes engine in the back of it is gonna make a big difference down that massive main straight. Guys, according to the upgrades, Ferrari have got the strongest engine, as you guys can see. Well, officially we do. And Red Bull just have the best aero, which, like I said in the previous episode, leads me to drag reduction, meaning that car is just uber slippery in a straight line, so they don't need the strongest engine. But if they do get a few engine upgrades on that car, the rest of us are screwed at this current beginning of the career mode. So you guys can see I'm once again pumping in the upgrades. Where I can, I'm upgrading the car. We need a strong car. We need to bridge this gap to Red Bull, because the gap is still way too large. And considering what happened to Fernando in the first race, obviously P6 was not the worst it could have been, but I expect top 5s from Alonso. I need his real life consistency. That would be the best idea right now. So guys, we jump straight into qualifying. We go to the end of our lap in Q1. Only doing the 1 lap, obviously, because we are a front-running car across the line, and we are in P5, only with 1 lap. In qualifying, Fernando is P10. But guys, there's something that I've discovered recently that I'm going to keep a very close eye on, and that is the race director, to see which teams use how many amounts of tires in qualifying. Because I saw Fernando was in 10th, and I was like, oh no, this is bad news. Turns out he did the same as me. He only went out on 1 set of soft tires, but he did it at the beginning of the session. So at the end of the session, when the track was more rubbered in and the track was more green, not green, and the track was more, like I said, why am I trying to define stuff with 4 different definitions? Not the point. But when the track was properly rubbered in, that's when we went out. So the car's definitely Q3 pace if I look at Fernando's time. They're going out at the beginning of the session, and him still getting P10 quite comfortably. So here we go. First lap in Q2. You guys know me by now. I always use the scrub set from Q1. It's not just in this game. It's been in the previous games as well. Second run, we go purple first sector, green middle sector. But the car was really wobbly at the end of the lap. So when even I dip a wheel onto the grass there, we come across the line. It is P6, so we get into Q3 alongside Alonso in P7. That is more representative of what we can do. But guys, look at Yuki Tsunoda and Lando Norris. Those 2 cars, which are not on Alpine and Williams' level, are into Q3. How did Tsunoda get into Q3? Guys, Sergio Perez is out. Oh my goodness, Perez is out of qualifying. He only went for 1 run in Q2. You can't do that in modern day Formula 1. The P3 podium sitter of the last race, Sergio Perez, is out of qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. That is massive. That's massive for us, Ferrari and Mercedes. As once again, we have a massive tank slapper coming out of the final corner. These scrub tires did not like the amount of power that I put down in that section. So guys, here we go for our final lap in qualifying around the Albert Park circuit. First two corners, guys, it's a very quick right-left section. Have some cojones in between your legs and just push it through there. Into the third corner, it's a late braking zone, but also an early apex. Preferably do not hit the curb. I was a little bit too quick on turn in there, but I didn't lose too much time. Into the next left and into this flat-out right-hander, which you can actually take flat-out now, unlike an F122 where you would have spun. Into this next section where we wind up to the new section on the track, which has been that whole little awkward chicane section that would have been here has been dealt with and thrown away. This is straight line speed, DRS open almost all the way till we get to one of the coolest corners in Formula One, the high speed left right chicane here at Albert Park. Fifth gear into sixth gear, through the beautiful line there, through the left right chicane, down the usual overtaking spot here in Australia, the back straight, hard on the brakes for the tightened up right hander as we head into sector 3. You've got a lot of curb to use on the outside, and it doesn't have too little grip, so you can actually use that. Excuse for the jump in the replay, guys, there's nothing I can do about that, but we had a quick run through the third sector, open up DRS as we are on our way to the line, and we are going to come across the line in P8. We got out-qualified by Lando Norris. How on earth? Okay, guys, we've got some work to do in the race. Clearly, our quali pace is not as good as it was last episode. Alonso P5. We've got two Ferraris and a Red Bull on the front row. This is going to be a good race.
Welcome to Melbourne, and welcome to the Australian sun. We're still getting used to some track revisions here, but the core hasn't changed. This is a beloved classic of the F1 calendar, and it's time for the Australian Grand Prix. So here we are at Albert Park Circuit, 3.28 miles around, with the streets making for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 14 corners around the lake, with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Norris, O'Connor, Gasly, Tsunoda, Ocon, Albon, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Perez, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, De Vries, Sargent, and Zhou Guanyu. And now it's time to head down to the track. And what would any Grand Prix weekend be without the one and only Natalie Pinkham? Now, let's talk about Charles Leclerc.
What a quali performance. The big question, though, is how does that translate on race day? Can they hold on to that lead? Beside that, of course, any kind of turn 1 incident could completely turn the race on its head. Let's keep our fingers crossed everyone can get through in one piece.
So guys, sitting here on the grid on the Albert Park Street circuit, guys, the main gist of the story is a one-stop, either from mediums to hards, softs to mediums, softs to hards, or hards to mediums, or hards to softs. So guys, because I was starting P8 and I was going to try something a little bit different, I'm going to try and start on the hards. I don't think anybody else is doing that, and then go to the mediums so that I can have a quicker last stint. Because what I did discover in the previous episode at Bahrain is the Aston is really, really quick on low fuel. So if I can have the grippier tire on low fuel, that bodes nothing but good news for us. And as you guys can see, once again, just like in Bahrain, there's varying strategies of soft and medium runners, but we are the only car starting on the hards. This is either going to go really good or really bad. Hit the like to wish me luck.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway and the track temperature looks warm. That may or may not play into some of the team's hands in today's race. So as all the cars reform the grids, the drivers will be hoping to get a strong start. They'll want to earn some valuable points from today's race, with final communications being done with their race engineers, ensuring the planned strategies are all in place.
Guys, are you guys ready for the Australian Grand Prix here at Albert Park on F123? Guys, Alonso has got a very good starting position for this race. Hopefully he can jump that Mercedes of ours. George Russell, I can't remember. It's either Russell or Hamilton. But and we need to make some ground up from P8. Guys, I'm aiming for a top 5 today, but it doesn't seem like we've got the same pace that we had in Bahrain. But that's only going from quali. Let's see what happens in the race on race pace. Now we head to 5 red lights, and it's go for the Australian Grand Prix. Verstappen and Leclerc on the front row. Carlos Sainz gets a beautiful launch off of the second row. He's already ahead of Leclerc and going side by side with Verstappen. It's the Spaniard leading into the first corner ahead of the defending Dutch world champion Max Verstappen. Leclerc has gone from P1 to P3, and in the background Alonso gets past the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. And the thing is, Hamilton and Russell are now behind, and you guys can see me there in the background also fighting with the two Mercedes, as I didn't get too bad of a getaway on the more slippery hard tires. But here we go into this next section. Verstappen is literally smelling the gearbox oil of this Ferrari, and I'm sure Verstappen is already sizing up a move with that slippery Red Bull in a straight, well, with that slippery in a straight line Red Bull. But let's jump back to our POV for our start, guys. We'll go back to the Leclerc Verstappen, to the Sainz Verstappen battle in just a second. You guys see it was nearly 4 wide heading into the first corner. I make it 4 wide with myself. I think that's Russell next to us and the McLaren of Lando Norris, and I don't even know who was alongside Lando. But the thing is, we go side by side with the Mercedes, and it was Russell, and Hamilton just leaves the inside wide open. Like, there was no way I was not going to take that opportunity. Hamilton just left the door absolutely wide open. It enables his teammate Russell, who's on the softer tires, to get past him. Hopefully Russell can use those soft slicks. But now we jump back towards the battle that you all want to see. Verstappen, Sainz, Leclerc. Here we go. Leclerc needs to do a better job than he's doing right now, because Sainz is under severe pressure from the defending world champ. Here we go into the high-speed left-right chicane. Verstappen is still right behind Carlos Sainz. DRS will not be activated just yet, because it's in the first 2 laps, no DRS. But here we go into the braking zone. Verstappen goes around the outside of sight. Will he utilize the curve to his advantage? Yes, he will. And the Red Bull takes the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. Guys, this is what no one wants to happen, because, I think Max is gone now. Max is gone. You're not going to get past him again. The Red Bulls are incredible when they are in clean air and leading a race. But you guys can see it's Norris and Gasly fighting away as we head towards the end of the first lap. But now it is myself chasing after my teammate Fernando Alonso. He is currently on the quicker tire, so I'm going to sit back, steal some DRS, and keep my battery's percentage as high as possible. But now we look at Leclerc and Sainz, as Verstappen by mid-lap, lap 3, has already pulled out a 1.3 second gap on the 2 Scuderia Ferrari cars. Here we go into the braking zone once again. Will Sainz be done a second time around the outside, but only this time by his teammate? Yes, he will. Leclerc gets up into P2. Does the previous race winner have it in him to stay with Verstappen? Guys, we jump onto lap 4, and it's onto our POV now. Alonso was just so slow on these mediums, guys. Like, I'm on a compound harder and slower, and Alonso just wasn't doing it for me. So I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to go around the outside of Nando, and let's see if he can keep up, or whether I pull away and get closer to the Ferraris, because I couldn't sit behind him any longer, guys. The Ferraris were just slowly but surely creeping away. So if Alonso wakes up now, it's a little bit too late, because he should have woken up and gotten to those 2 Ferraris while they were battling, because they are still battling. And now, going to lap 5, just 1 lap later, Alonso's waken up. Fernando, it's 2 to 3 laps a little late, my guy. But once again, you're on the faster tire. I'm not going to fight you. Hopefully you give me a lot of DRS, and I can save up some battery. But here we go, guys. Hamilton got back ahead of his teammate Russell, and he is now leading the way. It seems like the medium tires are the one to be on for the two Mercedes cars. Oh, there's a puff of smoke! There's a puff of smoke! No! The 7-time world champion is slowing, and on the main straight, Hamilton's Mercedes has conked out. The engine has said kaput like Max's engine did last race, and the Mercedes is out. And I mean, guys, by the amount that Hamilton and Russell were battling, it looked like a Mercedes civil war at the beginning of that Grand Prix. But Russell is the only Mercedes left flying the flag for that team in this Australian Grand Prix. So let us see what happens. Guys, we go to lap 8, and once again, Alonso is just holding me up. He was quick from lap 5 to lap 7. But after that, once again, I literally closed up to his rear end within half a lap. So now I'm ending this. I'm on the quicker tire now. Alonso can sit behind me and battle Russell, because Russell was closing in on both of us. So I've got the quicker car. I need to try and build a gap here. So it's by the mid lap 9, it is 1.5 seconds between myself and Alonso, and now he is battling with George Russell in that Mercedes. Here we go. Russell goes around the outside of Alonso. That seems to be the preferred move today, is around the outside of that tightened up right hand at the end of the back straight. And Alonso is trying to do the same right now. So the inside line clearly isn't the line to take, the line that I took. So maybe I need to try around the outside. You never know, it might work. But Alonso gets back up into P5, and we now jump all the way to lap 12, guys, as there wasn't much that was happening currently. And we now look at Verstappen. He is 4.3 seconds ahead of Sainz, who, by the way, obviously again overtook Leclerc. Verstappen is into the pit lane, and we'll see now who's going to join him on this lap. He is on the softs. He started on the softs, where I think both the Ferraris actually started on the mediums. So that would explain Max's space advantages at the beginning. But he did enough to build a gap and just stay ahead of them. So now we've got Russell coming into the pit lane. The two Ferraris and us two at Aston Martin have stayed out. Gasly is staying out. There's not a lot of drivers that pits at that race. But I mean, Verstappen came out on P5. It's not even far back. He is so far ahead. Like, guys, I honestly think this race is over for the win. Max has got this absolutely in the bag, and we are now watching a battle between the two Ferraris again as Leclerc overtakes Sainz again around the outside. It's an identical move to the first one, and these two Ferraris, maybe I shouldn't have titled the video Mercedes Civil War, maybe I should have titled it Ferrari Civil War, because Sainz and Leclerc are really going for it. Leclerc just got into the lead, but now Ferrari have called him in for a pit stop. Let's see if Leclerc is the quicker man and the undercut will work, and if the undercut will work for the Monegasque. Here we go, Leclerc out of the pit lane. And obviously Verstappen is going to make an easy move on Leclerc to pass him again, because of Verstappen was so far ahead. Perez is coming in, who's been fighting from the back this whole race. He really messed up in qualifying, guys. He was not really even a factor in this race. We now look on to lap 13 as Russell has a little bit of a weird twitch there. No, you've got to be kidding me. George Russell, the second Mercedes, is smoking out of the back. Clearly something in Australia is not agreeing with this Mercedes power unit, and the second Mercedes has just pulled up along the side of the track and has retired. Never mind, the title stays. Mercedes Civil War. Oh my word, how I wish I could have been in that debrief after this race. Russell and Hamilton, Mercedes AMG, Petronas Racing is as a whole out of the Australian Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz comes into the pit lane along with my teammate Fernando Alonso. Verstappen now resumes in P2, but has Sainz done enough to get ahead of Charles Leclerc as we look at the quick pit stop there from the Aston guys on Alonso's car. And currently Leclerc is still ahead of Sainz as he is stuck behind Gasly at this stage. But guys, it's lap 50 now. Guys, look how quick Max is. Honestly, he caught me and re-overtook me even before I went for my pit stop. Remember, I'm on the hard, so I'm going a bit deeper. And by the end of lap 16, 2 seconds. He pulled 2 damn seconds on me. That Red Bull is an animal on another level. Guys, honestly, like I said, I don't think we're taking the championship this year, even with our quick upgrades. That Red Bull is so damn fast. It's going to be nearly impossible to catch them points-wise, even if we do get to the quicker car.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
that is the idea, Mark, and let's see. Let's take these tires to the end of the Grand Prix. Guys, we lose out to Alonso because obviously you guys heard the previous episode I said fresh tires give you a massive advantage on this game. So Alonso did pass us because we were only went into the pit lane a few laps after Fernando, so he did get the undercut on us. But now we're on the quicker tire by a country mile, and the car's getting lighter, so we will have the quicker Aston of the two. But guys, also one thing that I have to mention, just the sheer level of competition and racing in this new game for me just feels so damn good. It's so competitive and so much wheel-to-wheel action. I absolutely love it. This race not as much as Bahrain, but good enough.
You're in fourth position. Leclerc is ahead of you. Okay, gap to the car ahead is 8.8 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres, and that's Fernando behind. Less than a...
Guys, you guys heard that I was trying to see how far ahead Leclerc and Sainz were, and actually Sainz overtook Leclerc again. Guys, honestly, it's Ferrari and Mercedes civil war. Oh my goodness. Once again, Leclerc around the outside. He just loves that move, and Carlos can't do anything about that move. It's actually sad, but I'm sure that the Ferrari pit wall are just holding, like they're praying right now that these two guys don't wipe each other out or give each other damage, because they've got a double podium at this very moment, and obviously they need to think of the Constructors' Championship right now with Leclerc winning the first Grand Prix. But it's still the beginning of the season, and there's no championship won yet, so Sainz is more than welcome to fight Leclerc. We're all the way on to lap 25 now, as here comes Charles Leclerc, and he even passes Carlos before they even get to the back straight, and that's a beautiful move from Leclerc. But guys, that has basically been what this race has been about. I mean, I know it's not my usual long video, but it's still been a damn good race. Verstappen crosses the line to start his final lap of the Australian Grand Prix, and Leclerc is in P2 but still under heavy pressure from his teammate Carlos Sainz. There's only 3/10 separating the two Ferrari cars. Into turn one, Sainz goes around the outside. Sorry for the jump in the recording, guys, but Sainz goes around the outside and makes the move stick on his teammate, and he now resumes in P2. We're in P4 with Alonso in P5. Almost 6 seconds between us. You guys can see that I tried my best to catch up to Leclerc and Sainz, but there wasn't enough laps left and our car isn't that quick yet. The Ferrari's race pace is damn decent. Checo Perez is P6 with Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon for Alpine in P7 and P8. Lando Norris is actually going to get the points that he deserved back in Bahrain today, as he's in P9, and the Haas of Kevin Magnussen is in P10, but they're under severe pressure from the former Mercedes driver Valtteri Bottas for that final points paying position. But the man of the hour, the man who retired in the previous Grand Prix, the defending world champion, resumes to winning ways as Max Verstappen crosses the line to win the Australian Grand Prix, 15.2 seconds ahead of the two Ferraris in a 50% race. If this was a 100% race, you can double that to 30 seconds. Max has dominated today. Sainz takes P2, Leclerc P3. We're going to come home in P4 with Alonso P5. What a race!
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
We've witnessed some great battles on the streets of Melbourne today then, and they've taken a fantastic win. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here.
Guys, what an Australian Grand Prix. Let's quickly run through your top 10. Max Verstappen wins from Carlos Sainz in P2. Charles Leclerc P3, making a double Ferrari podium. We in Aston Martin take 4 and 5 with myself 4th and Fernando Alonso 5th. Sergio Perez fought his way all the way back up into P6 in his Red Bull, with Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon taking good points home for Alpine in P7 and P8. Lando Norris gets the points that he deserved back in Bahrain in P9, and Kevin Magnussen is in P10 for Haas. Bottas unfortunately couldn't get anything done in those final on that final lap. So that is your top 10, guys. And once again, what a Grand Prix, guys! For the second race in a row, because we were on the quicker tire, we managed to take the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, but only by 4/100ths of a second from Verstappen. Verstappen was honestly just in a league, in a league of his own. There was nothing that anybody could do to touch that man as soon as he got into the lead halfway through lap 1. He was just out and out the guy to beat. And I mean, a little bit of a debrief from the Mercedes side, they've got some reliability that they need to look at, because that was not the performance that they expected or wanted here in Australia. Looking at the Drivers' Championship, guys, Leclerc still leads the way with 40 points, 12 points ahead of his teammate Carlos Sainz. I'm 14 points behind them in P3, with Verstappen now jumping himself all the way up into P4 with his 25-point win. He's already 2 points ahead of his teammate Perez in P5. Then you've got the Mercedes of George Russell in 6th on 18 points. My teammate P7, Alonso, and then Hamilton in P8. Constructors wise, Ferrari lead the way by 20 points over Red Bull with 68 to 48. We are in 3rd, only 6 points behind Red Bull with Aston Martin. We've got a good gap to Mercedes, but obviously that is thanks to their double DNF today. So we've got some work to catch up to P2. But obviously, if things start going like they went today with Max, and if Perez joins the party with dominance, Ferrari are going to go to P2, and we need to catch them. So we need to focus on catching the 68.1, not the 48.1. In any case, guys, once again, it's 2 P4s in a row, actually. I only realized that now. So we haven't yet finished in any other position on this game. We've been a P4 guy McGee on the career mode, and I'm not gonna lie, that's not something that I'm gonna feel bad about. But obviously Leclerc by far the man to beat right now. I actually really feel bad for George Russell. I think he would have had a very good result today. But Hamilton, Hamilton needs to pick up his game. And guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm 10 points ahead of Fernando Alonso. Yeah, Fernando needs to pick up his game. He needs to try and beat at least one of the two. He needs to try and beat at least the 2 Mercedes, because clearly Ferrari are faster than Mercedes. It's going to be harder to catch them. So Mercedes are the 2 cars that we need to beat at this current stage of the season. So I need Fernando to pull up his socks a bit, but hopefully the upgrades that we are expecting and waiting for going towards my favorite race of the season, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix on the city streets of Baku. That is the next one, guys. I'm obviously super excited for that one. But again, guys, this race, our pace wasn't as good as it was in Bahrain, I'm going to be honest, but our pace wasn't terrible. It was decent. And I mean, on the quicker tire at the end of the race, when the Aston is at its best, I really started to reel in Leclerc and Sainz. Obviously, they were still battling constantly, but I mean, they were still the sections where they were quicker than me, because I was on the quicker tire. I could match them in the sectors they were quicker than me, and where I was quicker than them, I could capitalize on taking chunks of time out of them. So I'm so far very much impressed with this Aston Martin, but like I said in the first video, we've got some work to do. That there's no way to shy away from that. We've definitely got some work to do, but it's work that we're going to enjoy. It's work that we're going to love. And Aston Martin are on the march, and well, pretty soon, according to the R&D, we are the 2nd quickest car. But if Ferrari determines has the determining vote on that, it's pretty clear that they are still the 2nd quickest car behind Red Bull, and then we we're probably just faster than Mercedes. But guys, enough baffling. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Please make sure to drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you a nifty 2 seconds, and my appreciation level of that is through the roof. Thank you so much. Remember to comment down below on the video. I would very much highly appreciate that if you guys drop comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know what you thought of the race. I would appreciate that. Remember to go check out the links in the description down below. And if you have not yet subscribed, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below, and don't forget to ding the bell. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next video. Cheers!